Hi, and welcome to the Teaching Corner. Today we're going to be making a multiplication chart. So in the last two videos we were talking about touch points for addition and subtraction. And in order to use touch points for multiplication, our students need to be able to skip count. In my experience, many of my students just aren't able to remember all of that. So I help them by making a chart. You might notice that this isn't like a typical chart and that it doesn't have the 0 and the 1 column, and the reason for this is because, again, we're trying to limit the amount of visual stimuli that the students have because they struggle with too much information. I also didn't put the tens column on this side because they're going to have the tens column at the bottom. So first of all, I teach them that any number times 0 is 0. And then we learn that when you multiply by 1, cross out the 1 and the other number is your answer. Or cross out the 1 and you're done, because that's your answer. Then I'll teach them tens, and tens is really easy because it's just the number and adding a 0. But a lot of times my kids like to do it on their hands, so we'll go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. And then we'll go ahead and write that on our chart. Now, when your students were younger, hopefully they learned songs like 1, 2, buckle my shoe, 3, 4, shut the door, 5, 6, pick up sticks, 7, 8, lay them straight, 9, 10, begin again. If they didn't, you can also do that on a number line, and every other number just say it really bold, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you can just practice counting by twos. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. And then we'll write that. Then for the threes, I'm going to go ahead and write the threes on our chart, and then we're going to sing a little song, and I'll show you the song that I teach my students to go with it. And the song is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, and you're done. Hey! And my cameraman says that this is to the tune of Jingle Bells. Then fours also have a jingle. This jingle is to row, row your boat. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, and 40. And then for fives, we do the same thing that we did with our hands, but we're going to go 5, 10, and then just keep repeating that all the way until we get to 50. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Now, for most of our students, this is the easiest part of the chart that we've completed. Your numbers under 5 and then your tens. After this, it gets a lot more complicated. So what I teach my students is sixes are actually really easy because we've already done the vast majority of sixes. So we're going to use our chart, and I'm going to say 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 5 is 30. Then I teach my students some of the other sixes because they rhyme. So we march to these and we say 6 times 6 is 36. Then 6 times 7 is really the only one that they're going to have to just memorize, and 6 times 7 is 42. Then 6 times 8 rhymes. So 6 times 8 is 48. Then for 6 times 9, my students have learned the 9-finger trick on their hands. So what you do is you hold up your hand, and whatever number it is, you're going to start on your left hand and start at your pinky and count to that number and put that finger down. And whatever is on the left side goes in the tens place, and whatever's on the right side goes in the ones place. And it's easier to see if you put your hands down, so I'm going to put them on this paper. So we're saying 9 times 6, so I'm going to start with my pinky and count to the 6th finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I lay that down. This hand is the tens, so 50. This hand is the ones, 4. Now we have the sevens. So again, we can use our chart to help us up until this point. So the vast majority of the chart is already filled out for us. We just follow along. And then they're going to need to learn that 7 times 7 is 49. That's a perfect square. In a lot of your math books, they're going to practice perfect squares like 8 times 8 is 64, 7 times 7 is 49. So if you've already learned that and they've practiced that math fact, but this one they're going to have to learn. And then 7 times 8 is 56. And this one is easy because it's a counting rule. 7, 8. So you go 8, 7, 6, 5. Or 5, 6, 7, 8 if you want to. So it's the counting rule. If they'll remember those numbers in order, it tells them the answer. And then again, we have our 9 trick. So you're going to say 9 times 7. They're going to put down their 7th finger, and anything on this side of the finger is in the tens place. So 60, 1, 2, 3. So 9 times 7 is 63. And then we have our 8, which is really easy because most of it is already done for us. Then 8 times 8 is 64. Again, that's a perfect square, so hopefully they learned that when they were talking about perfect squares. And 9 times 8, you put down the 8th finger, and you'll have 72. Another trick you can teach students with the 9s is if they'll write the 9s down, and after the 9 they'll write the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then they're going to go back up and start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's another visual way. If they can't remember their 9s, they can either do them on their fingers, or they can make a column like this and start with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and it gives them the answer. So now we can use this chart when we're doing multiplication. If they can't remember the fact in their head, they can use this to help them skip count. So I hope this was helpful. If it was, please like, share, subscribe, and I hope to see you later. Bye!